Frank, who is this guy? I've never even heard of him.
Look, he's from New Jersey. I got to look at this guy. The interview could be a little rough. Just be prepared.
You know,
right?
I've heard he's kind of like a trip. I mean,
just be prepared, all right? It
all
could be a
right.
little rough. For 5 seconds. Sit down. Let's get ready.
all right.
How you doing there, Mr. Peters? Are we on the air here?
5 seconds. 5, please.
What? Oh!
4.
Good evening, I'm Ron Peters, and welcome to another edition of Plain People. Tonight we'll be talking with a rather unique individual. His name is Benny Hersnackler, and Benny is the chef and part-time groundskeeper at the Hong Kong Deli and Discount Novelty Emporium in Punxsutawney, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Benny, welcome to the show. I'm glad you could make it on such a miserable night out there tonight.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Mr. Peters. I'll tell you, I come up on the moped, you know. I got a moped. I tell you, it was wicked.
I'm sure.
I was coming up there, and I almost got, at least 20 tractor trailers right off the road. It was wicked, and I don't got no windshield wiper on the moped.
I'm glad to hear that. Tell me a little bit about Punxsutawney. Where exactly is Punxsutawney? I've never...
It's about 20 miles south of, no, it's about 30 miles south of Camden.
I see. A lot happening there?
Well, you know, it's kind of wild. It's not real, well, it's not real wild. Matter of fact, for excitement, we go out in the parking lot and watch the cars depreciate. I'm a little restaurant humor there.
Very, very little. You know, that's a very colorful outfit you've got on there, Benny. Tell me a little bit about that, would you please?
Well, somewhere there's a 52 Dodge that's missing its seat covers. I just like to keep things lively. I want to get in show business too, you know.
Is that right?
Actually, I dressed up because, I'll tell you why. I had an interview in the Punxsutawney Gazette. There was an article there. What did it read? How did it read that? Oh my goodness. Oh, I know what it said. It said, male wanted for scientific research, $500, call for details. So I called. I'm up here in my interview today. I was already at the lab. And you never believe what they wanted me to do.
I would be afraid to ask.
They wanted me to mate with a gorilla. And you believe that? A gorilla. I said, what the heck? You know, the article said $500. You know, so I said, I'll do it on 3 conditions, all right?
What were the conditions, Benny?
Well, number 1, I ain't going to kiss the thing. Number 2, I'm not going to stay overnight with it. No way. And number 3, can I pay the $500 in installments? Because I don't got it up front. I don't. Who has that kind of money? You know, even if you do mate with a gorilla.
But I think they pay you though, don't they?
Oh, no kidding. Son of a gun. That's what. Hey, that makes it even more interesting.
Okay.
I can do that for a year.
Well, let's move on here, please. I understand, like as we said at the beginning of the show, that you're the chef and part-time groundskeeper at the Hong Kong Gardens Restaurant and Discount Novelty Emporium.
Discount Novelty Emporium there, yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun job.
I'm sure it is. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do there?
Well, actually, I'm the cook. You know, I never took no cooking lessons. But I did graduate from an accelerated learning course on how to create class and wit in the real you. It was based on a best-selling book. When they call you stupid, just turn your head and say, "Oh yeah." It was a good book.
And you graduated, huh?
Yeah. Matter of fact, yeah, I got an A, I think.
Let me ask you, I'm really intrigued by the cooking and the fact that you said you've never gone to cooking school.
No.
Let me ask you this. How would you prepare a chocolate mousse or mouse or whatever the case may be?
I never made nothing like that. I only make Oriental food. And if we get through a week without food poison, I done a good job. That's the way I feel about it. You know, that's the way I feel about it.
Did you ever do anything in school that would have helped you with your cooking or groundskeeping work?
Well, no, not really. What I did was, I never took really no cooking lessons, but I did play some sports in school, in high school.
Oh, sports, really? Like, for
I
what
threw the
type of sport?
discus. I threw the discus. But as you can see, I'm a little cross-eyed here. I never won no medals, but I sure kept the crowd on its toes. I just like, you know, some humor. I'm not only a chef, but you know, I want to see if I can break into show business too.
Break in?
Yeah, I like to go out to Vegas and entertain. I can sing, really.
Do you do any
I
other
can
kind
sing.
of? Do you do any other kind of work?
Yeah.
Okay, such as?
Well, in other words, what do you want to know?
Well, you said you've done a lot of different things. You're a chef. You really haven't talked about your groundskeeping. Can you tell me something about your groundskeeping work?
Well, not really, because I mean it's just, you know, here and there. I just keep the grounds. There's nothing to it really. Just got some bonsai trees and stuff like that. What I did was, you know, why are these guys laughing at me?
I would hazard a guess. I really couldn't tell you.
I mean, is there another show going on in the other room? Or
No, this is the only one.
Okay. Anyway, I started out selling toothbrushes, and this, believe it or not, it's going to sound like a joke, but it's true.
I believe anything at this point.
Well, I started out selling toothbrushes, and this guy didn't want to hire me. I don't know why.
I wouldn't know
He
either.
said, "No, I don't think you're our kind." I said, "Please give me a chance. I can sell toothbrushes. I know it." So he let me. He put me out in the street, and in 2 weeks I sold more toothbrushes than anybody in the company ever sold. I sold more toothbrushes in 2 weeks than anybody ever sold in a year.
I know I shouldn't ask this. I know, but how do you account for your success?
Well, what I did was I set up a stand at the airport.
At the airport.
I set up a stand at the airport, and I had some potato chips, some dip, and my toothbrushes. And as people got off the plane, they take a chip, eat some dip, they say, "Oh, this tastes like crap." I said, "It is. You want to buy a toothbrush?" I sold 840 toothbrushes the first 3 days.
Did you make a lot of friends?
Yeah, this one guy still calls me once in a while. He's in prison, but we correspond.
Yeah. Have you ever had any sledding accidents when you were a child, Benny?
No, not I can recall. I got hit in a baseball. I got hit in the head with a baseball bat once, and I went around with magnesia for 2 weeks.
Magnesia? What is magnesia?
It's, well, magnesia is, can the crew help me out here? What the heck's magnesia? You know what magnesia is. It's when you can't drink. You know, it's when you can't, or magnesia, you know, you can't think of what you're doing.
I think that's amnesia. I think you have it wrong there.
Okay,
Amnesia.
yes, it
Yeah, I
is.
believe it is.
Okay, well, whatever, I had it. But I didn't get it playing. We weren't playing baseball when I got hit with a baseball. We weren't playing baseball. Me and my brother were just slamming each other in the side of the head. Yeah, to see how much we could take. Guess who won?
I can tell you did, that's for sure. Let me ask you, can you drive a vehicle?
What? Yeah.
You can.
Well, I have my license now for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, I've been driving for 2 years. As a matter of fact, of course, I only drive, I drive the moped most of the time because that's the easiest to drive, you know. And I don't go too many places. I come up here once, but yeah, the first time I took my driver's test, as a matter of fact, I flunked the test.
No.
I made one little stupid mistake.
What was that?
I ran over the guy who was giving me the test. I'm not kidding. That was embarrassing. You know, I thought for sure. And you know what they did? They thought I was so unique looking. They suggested to put a picture of the car on my license instead of me. Can you believe that? Now that's impressive.
Impressive to who?
I was impressed as hell with that. You know, I thought, is
Yeah.
that going to be censored?
Well, we can take care of that.
Okay.
We can take care of that.
Okay, all right.
I know it's difficult for you.
Yeah, but you know.
Benny, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah.
What are your enjoyments? What do you like to do?
Oh, I like to, I fix pacemakers and things like that.
You
but
fix
I'm
pacemakers?
mechanically declined.
Only mechanically?
Yeah. What I did was, my uncle has a pacemaker, and he wears it outside of his body.
Outside of his body?
He wears it outside of his body because and the strap goes, a wire goes into his heart. And
A wire into his heart?
yeah, he's got a wire going into his heart. The pacemaker's here, it's strapped on, and he's got a wire going into his heart. But I can't fix pacemakers too good, I tell you. Other mechanical things I can, but the pacemaker I can't. I fixed it, tried to fix it last week. Now every time he cuts the cheese, the garage door opens. And believe me, that door is open all the time. He's something else.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Benny, I want to ask you a question about your social life.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I'm not ashamed, you know, I'll tell you anything. I'm not hiding nothing.
Have no reason to be.
Me is, this is me. This is what you get, you know.
Do women find you, and if they do, how do they find you? They find you repugnant or repulsive, or?
I advertise in the Punch a Kitty Gazette, you know, middle-aged man, looking for romance, honest. I'm a little, you know, I ain't perverted, but I can get a little weird, but I like women, you know, who got some meat on their bones, but, well, let's not get into it. I'm all right, you know, women find me, I think they find me relatively attractive.
Relative to what?
I don't know why. I'm not egotistical, but I think, you know, I don't think I'm bad looking, you know. Do you?
No.
I don't think I'm bad.
What? No, never mind. Let me ask you this question, Benny. Getting back to the restaurant business.
Yeah.
I imagine that you have a lot of employees working for you since you are the chef.
Well,
how
they
many
don't work for
employees
me.
do you have? Well, how many people do you work with there at the restaurant?
Well, they work. You see, I ain't the boss. I'm just the chef there. We got 3 cooks, including me, and 5 waitresses there.
I see.
Did you do you believe in flying saucers?
No.
Neither did I till I goosed the waitress. Just, I like some humor there, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, Benny, I must say it's been a very unique experience talking with you, and I really want to thank you for joining us today.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here, and maybe I can come up again sometime and look into your camera and say hi, and I'd love to.
Well, we have to get those cameras fixed, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay, all right.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, and good night.
Good night. It was a pleasure being here tonight.